All right, so we are heading into town, but while we're doing that, I thought we'd talk about
there's some foul garbage.
The 5 things that we consider when we're picking a site at our campgrounds. So the number one consideration for us, because we 9 times out of 10 travel with the dogs, is we make sure that we stay away from the shower houses. And a lot of people, they rely on the shower houses, and that's great if that's what you do with your trailer. But we use our trailer and everything that's in it. So, you know, we use the sinks, the showers, the toilet, everything. So we try to stay away from the shower houses because the shower houses mean traffic, and the traffic means barking.
And if you happen to be near one of those shower houses where they have the door that slams, it'll happen like every 4 or 5 minutes, all day, all night long. And that's not enjoyable.
Right. So number 1 is stay away from the shower houses. Number 2 is we like to stay in the outside of the loops. And I don't know if it's this way everywhere, but in the Oregon state parks, the outside of the loops are always larger sites, and they're always at an angle. So that gives us an easier, there's an airport over there.
Yeah.
There's always been an airport, Jerry.
The Nehalem Bay sticker has a picture of an airplane on it. And if you look down here, there's a beautiful view of the runway, and it takes off right over the water.
Yeah, there it is.
Nehalem Bay, it's gorgeous.
Sorry about that. Outside of the loops, yeah, bright and shiny. We've come here, you know, and I've never ever noticed that. Anyway, we like to stay in the outside of the loops. Typically, you don't have people behind you. The traffic's less, but the number 1 reason is the sites are bigger and they're at an angle, which makes it easier to back in.
And we, of course, learned that the hard way by getting sites on the inside loop, and the driveways are exactly perpendicular. And if you happen to have trees guarding the mouth of your site and overhanging branches, it can be a nightmare to back your trailer in there without scraping the branches or ripping off your air conditioner or your awning or...
Right. In fact, it was the state park that we're staying at right now where we made the mistake of getting on the inside of the loop. And I actually asked the ranger what the fine was for cutting down a tree, because I'm sure that the fine for cutting down a tree would be less expensive than repairing my roof. I didn't have to do either, thank goodness, but we did.
5 people with flashlights guiding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and unfortunately you showed up after dark on that trip, and you were trying to back up into trees in a dark spot, perpendicular at night with an extra long trailer. It was the perfect storm.
Right. It was not the ideal situation. All right. Tip number 3, or consideration number 3 when we're planning our stays at a campground, is dog accessibility and dog runs / dog parks. Again, we travel with the dogs a lot, and so that's always something that we like to have access to. You know, every campground you go to requires the dogs to be on leashes, and so I think you can go that way.
I'm gonna go the back way.
They require dogs to be on leashes, and that's fair. I appreciate that, but it's also nice to be able to let your dogs off leash and let them run in an enclosed dog park. The dog park out at La Pine is massive, and we love that one for the dogs. They could get out and run.
And Rogue River.
Rogue River had a really nice one. We've been to a couple that were...
Cove Palisades has a very nice dog park.
Cove Palisades. So the state parks are starting to get in tune with creating dog space.
So same with the KOAs. But some of them are small and some of them are big. So you just got to look at the website to see.
Right. But that's definitely something that we check on when we're making a reservation, do they have a dog run or dog space?
And some of them, it can be just nearby, like Fort Stevens doesn't have a dog run, but 2-3 miles outside of the gate, they have a local dog park that's beautiful. It's got a small dog area, it's got a big dog area, and for us in particular, we have Siberian Huskies, which can never be off leash, because if you let them off leash, they're gone. So we want to let them run, but we need to be able to get a hold of them at some point and put them back on leash.
We don't have Huskies for that reason.
So,
all right.
Item number 4.
Tip number 4. Tip number 4 is we learned this the hard way. You have to learn to read the map. You have to learn to break the code on the size spacing. And so the way that Oregon State Parks does it is you have a little block, and the block is color coded based on the type of site it is, so whether it's full hookup or not. And then there's a number in that, and that is the length of the full space from the start of the pad to the back of the pad. And so we know that we need 52 feet. And that accommodates the truck and the trailer. And so we had to figure that one out. And we arrived at some places that was a little small. We had to drop the trailer and park somewhere else, or park sideways or whatever.
Or move all together like we did.
Or move all together like we had to do at Wallowa.
Yes.
Luckily, the park rangers were very helpful, and they got us moved into a really nice big space. So anyway, make sure that you check the legend on the maps for your sites. And if you're booking online, most RV parks, campgrounds have a map, and they'll tell you what the size of the spaces are. But sometimes you need to call and check before you make that reservation. Okay, so tip number 5 is think about what you want to do when you go camp. So we pick places based on what's at the destination. Is it hiking? Is it biking? Walking on the beach? Or maybe it's absolutely nothing and we're just trying to get away. For those of us that are weekend warriors, it's usually about a destination and what you do once you get there. This weekend it was, number one, just to get out of town, but some beach time also. And so that works out well for us, especially with our park system here in Oregon. If we want the desert, rivers,
mountains,
hiking, biking, mountains, or beach, it's all available for us, within a 2-hour
It's expensive though.
circle.
Yeah.
So
Never mind.
anyway, tip number 5 is consider the destination and what's there.